Today on First Cup, we'll talk about the new episode of Martial Arts Radio. We'll talk about what I did yesterday and the ridiculously embarrassing thing I did in public. And we'll have conversation about quotes and other stuff that you left. Stick around. Rolling in 7 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today is Thursday. It's December 30th, 2021. Almost there. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup of coffee. Good morning. Oh, wow, a spammer. Nice. It's our first one. Block user. Good morning, Jenny. Let's also delete that comment because I don't want to look at it. You know you're getting somewhere when people are trying to spam your feeds. Woo, look at us. It's too early for this. Well, I hope you had a great Wednesday. And thanks for joining me, whether you're watching live, later, listening. I appreciate all of you. I didn't sleep well. It's warm. It's like 33 now. I have a metal roof. Snow slides off of it. So I'd just be about to go to sleep, and then the house would shake because a large volume of snow would go boom, and the house would go. Not a lot, but it's that deep rumble, and you're like, oh. And you wake up because, you're kind of genetically wired to avoid danger. Is that danger? No, that's snow off the house. Okay, I'll go back to sleep. Or try to go back to sleep. Good morning, Andy. Jenny says you're Facebook famous. If Facebook fame gets me spammers, then we've been famous for a long time. They're rarely in the feed. They go after us directly. Hey, we make martial arts gears. Can we make some martial arts gears for you, dear sir? No, you cannot. We already have people that do that. So I don't even engage with them anymore. I used to, right? Like, remember when you first got email, and this may vary depending on how old you are. But when I first had email and I first started getting spam, I would go through and I would read halfway through it before I realized it was spam. I was like, what is this message? And then you get to the bottom and you hit unsubscribe, and then you learn years later that unsubscribing to spam is just confirming that it's an accurate, that your email address exists. Yikes. Good morning, Brian. Brian says, good morning, time for my hour drive in. Man, that's like California commute. I knew someone, we had a number of people that we shared on projects. And actually, some of you may know, if you remember G4 TV, if you remember Leo Laporte, back when Leo was doing G4, he was driving, I want to say it was like 90 to 2 hours each way every day. From, where did he live? Petaluma to San Francisco, something like that. And I only remember that because he talked about how many audiobooks he went through. He was going through like a book plus per week. So yeah. It's I'm not a big fan of the commute. Now, I don't mind driving. I like driving. I especially like driving when the roads are good and I have a fun car to drive. And that was one of the things I was thinking about falling asleep last night was, man, I miss my sports car. Maybe I'll get another one again. I don't know. Who knows? Have a great day, Andy. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, audiobooks, long drives. I listen to podcasts. Big shock, right? And I listen to a bunch of stuff, health space. In fact, I'm going to be honest, most of the material that originated into 12 Months to Health, if you're listening, I'm holding up the book. Hardcover. It's available in hardcover. You should get a copy. the roots of that book come from two different podcasts. And my opinions on both of them have changed. So because the content and the type of content, the way they do content has changed. And so I'm not going to name them. One of them has gone, I'm convinced, pay to play. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, it means that the guests that go on their show pay to be on there. And I don't like that. I don't mind it, but I don't like that they don't talk about it. They don't disclose that. They also don't say that they don't, which is why periodically I will say, if a guest is making a really good offer, like we're not getting any kickback for this. We've had people try to do that. No, I would rather you offer an even better deal to the audience. And then the other one has found a niche being a counter voice to things that are happening currently. And while I still listen to them and there's still some good information being shared, the tone of the information, the tone of the messaging is such that I don't want to send people to just go off and listen to that without context. And if I just name a show, I don't get the opportunity to really sit down with you and say, hey. Speaking of shows, Andrew came up. We recorded 3 yesterday. We had a really good time. I think the 3 we recorded yesterday were probably the most on that we have done for Thursday episodes. We've got all 3 of those will be airing in January as of now, as of the plan now. So I'm pumped for that. I'm pumped to see what you guys think of them. And also, speaking of shows, it's Thursday. What do we have going on here? That'll go live anytime now. Actually, can I make this live? I think I can. Hold on. Come on, phone. Andrew being silly. All right. Where do I edit this? Today's episode. No, I'm going to have to leave this for Andrew. It's being weird. Episode 671. Do you remember we did an episode? What do we call it? Like, is MMA ruining traditional martial arts? Something like that. And somebody wrote in and they offered the suggestion, yes, I agree. MMA has had negative impact on traditional martial arts, but there have also been some benefits. Would you do an episode on that? And we did. And I'm actually really glad that we did, because I like presenting a balanced conversation. And I like people realizing that, hey, I'm willing to praise where it's warranted. And there are plenty of ways that the traditional martial arts have benefited from the influence of MMA. And we talk about them in the episode, and you can listen, and then you can tell me what you think. Good morning, Frank. It's quiet in the chat today. Today. Oh, let me finish yesterday. So yesterday, Andrew and I recorded after I did a bunch of work. Work went well. We recorded, went and had something to eat. I stopped by the gym. I would say I worked out. I didn't really. I did a little, but I have this goal. I try to get there every day. I did my kick stretching, which is important to me. And then I went and had another meal like 2 hours later. Did not plan the day great. With some friends. And one of them, I haven't even scratched them, gave me some scratch off tickets in a holiday card. And the card had glitter on it. And so there's, a bunch of us in a booth, and I take the card, and my friend Michelle sitting here, and I just took the glitter side of the card and rubbed it on her arm. I didn't realize how loose the glitter on this card was. I have never seen glitter. This glitter was pretty much just like sprinkled on the card and held there with static, because I came away and her arm was absolutely covered in glitter. And she just looked at me and I was like, I am so sorry. And she sat there the rest of dinner and like flicked it on me. And I got home and literally took off my clothes on the front porch and shook them out because it's glitter. And yeah, I know everybody makes jokes about glitter, but I literally had experiences with glitter in college that spanned years. Like, and I know because it was like a specific kind of glitter. We're not going to go into the story. That part's not relevant. Just know that glitter frightens me. So I took off my clothes and then I threw them in the dryer and shook them out. And I haven't even opened to see, but there's still, if I turn the right way, there's probably still some around my face. Glitter. Jenny says, LOL, that glitter will never go away. You're right. I'm going to have to burn my clothes. That doesn't throw me because it was a shirt that I really liked. It may just go in a bucket until summer when I can just like hang it on a hook in the middle of the yard and let the wind do its thing. The wind and the rain. It feels like a song. Not a good one, but it feels like a song. So that was last night. Today, I'm going to head up to the co-working space. My membership there ends this month. I can still go up, but it's on, I pay more to go in for a day, but I'm actually going to spend less because I haven't been going up that much because I've been so busy. And with all the travel coming up because of the tour, I'm going to be going up even less. There are plenty of days where I'm going to be traveling on Fridays, and Friday's been the big day that I can get there. Doesn't make sense for me to go there on Mondays. It's my meeting day. I don't want to just sit there in one of those pods all day when I can have like a whole room and not bother other people. Tuesdays are recording days. Wednesdays, I'm not usually ready to leave until noon. And then sometimes Thursdays, like today. So, yeah, I'll go on demand, and really it's a social thing. And yeah, I've connected with some people. I've had a little bit of work come out of it, but it hasn't been a profitable endeavor. I look at it more as social networking, making some friends. The person I'm going to spend Friday night with, this guy, Mark, that I met and I've worked with on a project. Nice guy. He's like, hey, what are you doing New Year's Eve? Let's grab a couple drinks or something. I didn't have anything. I'm going to go hiking during the day, but I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. Don't forget New Year's resolutions tomorrow. I want everybody to show up and drop them in the chat. And if you're not able to show up, I want you to leave them in the thing that I'm going to leave today for tomorrow in the Facebook group. Kelly's calling it a glitter bomb. There are services where you can spend, it's like $10, and someone will send a letter that not explodes with like force, but kind of like with glitter at people. I think those are great. I don't actually want to send them to anyone because I think it's really mean, but I think it's fun that things like that exist. We could do like some martial arts themed confetti. That would be easier to pick up. I think confetti is like the nice glitter. Anything else? I don't think so. All right, let's dig into the comments, the questions, the feedback, the whatever. What do we got? Frank today has 3 quotes for us from Brian Tracy. I don't know who Brian Tracy is. Should I know who Brian Tracy is? I feel guilty not knowing. Number 1, always give without remembering, and always receive without forgetting. I like that. I find the culture around gift giving really interesting, because there are a lot of people that get really bent out of shape if gifts are not received in the way that the giver wanted them to. And I grew up in a household where you wrote thank you notes. You wrote thank you notes for everything. And as a child, I found it exhausting, right? Like as an adult, sitting down and writing a note and putting it in an envelope and getting the address, like it's not that big of a deal. But when you're 5, this is a big deal. You're like, oh my God, writing is so exhausting. It takes so much mental power. And so to write a note to every single person, my bar mitzvah, it was like 2 weeks of hell after. So I had to thank everyone with a note. In fact, there were special notes that were ordered, and I still have most of them. And like once every 3 years, I will write a thank you note on one of them. The person receiving them doesn't know how special those notes are, but I do. They're 30 years old, 29 and a half years old. Apparently, this guy is an entrepreneur and motivational speaker. Thank you. Yeah, Jenny, see, we're on to something. Jenny says she's responding to my confetti idea. LOL, poof, and you get kicked with martial arts themed glitter. We should do this. We should do this. I'm not in charge. Somebody else is in charge of this. If anybody else wants to partner on the martial arts themed confetti exploding box idea, you let me know. We'll get it all. I'll work with you on it. We'll split the profits. There will be no profits, I can promise you. But you could brag to your friends and, more importantly, send it to your friends. So growing up, didn't like thank you notes. And as I got older, I realized, wait a second. Because I had, you know what kicked it off? I had a relative who called me to tell me how disappointed in me she was that I did not thank her for the gift she had sent me. And it really, she was aggressive about it. This person has passed on, so I don't want to speak, ill of her, but this was a really big deal to her. And I was like, I did. Now I found it years later. I had emailed her a thank you. She had stopped checking that email address. That's what it came down to. But where it sent me was, if I give you something, why do I get to obligate an action of yours? If the reason I give a gift to you is because I'm expecting something in response, it is not a gift. It is literally the opposite definition. A gift is, here, this is for you, without expectation, without a required exchange back. Otherwise, it's a trade or a sale. And I work really hard to make sure that when I give someone something, I'm not expecting anything in return, because I want it to be given in the right spirit. I'm not a card sender. None of you have received holiday cards from me before. I don't do well with gifts on birthdays or gifts at Christmas time. Yesterday at dinner, it was a couple couples and myself, and 100% of the gift giving was driven by the women. And I always feel a little awkward about this because I forgot that gifts might be getting exchanged. My brain just doesn't go there. I wasn't prepared. I didn't bring gifts, but you know what? They don't care. They're happy I'm there. They know I'm going to forget because I keep saying, let's not do gifts. I'd rather do something as an experience, and they choose to still give gifts. Now, they don't mind. They're not upset with me. They're not going to ostracize me. They're giving those gifts in the right spirit. Now, I'm going to find a way to get them back, which is sort of not in the right spirit, but it kind of is. Now, I don't mean get them back like I'm going to go find something cheesy. I'm just going to keep my eyes open for something that I will feel good giving to them. It's about me, not them. So maybe it's not the right idea, but you get the point. Point being, if you can't give the gift without expecting something in return, you're doing it wrong. You should work on that. Next, the future belongs to the risk takers, not the comfort seekers. Where is comfort? Comfort is in what you know, you understand, you are used to, familiar, bunch of words. Those are also the places that if you remain, you receive the same results. Here's a question. Why are people so hyped up on the idea of investing in crypto, becoming internet famous for trivial things, etc. It's because they don't have to do the work. They think they've found a shortcut. Oh, if I do these things, I will have a dramatically different result without dramatically changing the input. Might happen, probably won't happen. Probably will not happen. But that doesn't change them from wishing. There's a saying that someone I look up to says often: wish in one hand and in the other and see which one fills up first. One of the episodes Andrew and I recorded yesterday involved some retrospective and some looking forward. And so I was thinking a lot about this in that moment, those moments, 30 minutes, whatever it was. Thinking about whistlekick and realizing that a lot of what we have, all of what we have, has come from a combination of lots of hard work for myself and members of the team and luck. If you work hard enough, long enough, good things will happen. That's the formula. That's a secret formula. People try to hack it. It's not hackable. Well, I am sorry to Munir. I can't read Arabic. Oh, there's a phone number in there. Okay. Well, guess what? If you're giving out a phone number, we blocking you. Man, is anybody that's here, were you there the day that we got bombed on YouTube? There was one day that like a dozen people showed up, and at first I was really excited. I was like, wow, we've broken out. Nope, it was essentially a gang of people who came by to just say horrible things. And I almost couldn't block them fast enough because I think they had multiple accounts each, and there were, probably a dozen of them. And it's really hard to block 30, 40 accounts. That was a rough day. All right, last quote. This lines up. We cannot get what we've never had unless we're willing to do what we've never done. Pretty much said that, didn't I? There was a theme in the episodes we recorded yesterday, and it was not a theme that necessarily is going to come through when you listen to them. So I certainly don't mind sharing it. Well, Frank's got a good memory for this stuff. He says it was right around this time of year too. Quite possibly some people who are no longer in school and are staying up too late and should be in bed. But this theme was, I feel like success comes a little sooner when you are very clear and intentional on the goal and you have planned out a path. It doesn't mean that path, no, not Sylvia Plath, that path doesn't change, but it means you have an idea of where you're headed. If you just say, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to get better at martial arts, how do you do that? There's so many ways you could do that. It becomes overwhelming. I want to make $1 billion in cryptocurrency. Okay, probably not going to happen, but now you have a direction to start. You've got to learn certain things. You've got to pay attention to certain things. You've got to raise enough capital to invest, and you've got to make sure you have the time to pay attention to it, right? So like there's at least the roots of a plan based on the details of the goal. I want to be famous for what? I want to be famous for cooking ridiculous things on social media. Okay. I don't know if anybody's doing a roadkill kitchen thing, but based on where I live, that's a thing that I could see some people that I know doing. we're not quite as big on the roadkill as I understand they are in areas of the South, but it happens. What do you got to do? You got to have social media platforms. You've got to have probably a fun title for the show. You probably want to lean into the redneck side of a character. There's the roots of a plan. You want to get better at martial arts? In what way? I want to be known as a very fast, defensive, technical fighter. Okay. Well, now you know, who do you look up to? What do they do? How do you learn from them? How do you practice your skill? And how do you share, demonstrate what you've learned? Right? Roots of a plan. When you know where you are, where you're going, that's what you need. Okay. Gabe says, I remember that day. I was there live. Jenny remembers it too. Yeah. People are weird. Bunch of weirdos. All right. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you want to contribute to, let's say, tomorrow's episode where we talk about New Year's resolutions, you can leave that stuff. If you're not going to join live, if you are going to join live, I'd like you to contribute it live. But you can go to facebook.com/firstcupwithjeremy, and you can leave it there. I'm going to post something shortly. If you want to support us, of course, we've got the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. We've got the code FirstCup15 to get stuff at whistlekick.com, like this mug. I'm using the Coffee as a Language in Itself Jackie Chan quote mug. I have so many mugs now that I'm going to start using a different mug every day. There was a guy, and his whole thing, he had like a social media following. I don't know if he still does this, where companies would pay him and he would wear their shirt for a day. We're going to end up with so many mugs that I'm going to have to do a different mug every day. Maybe that's how we take sponsorship for this show. Would you like to reach like a few people, a few really passionate people? Send me a mug with your logo and a check, and I'll drink coffee out of it. Of course, if you want the full list of all the things you can do to support Whistlekick and the mission that we've got going, whistlekick.com/family. I will be updating that later today. And remember, we do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook and YouTube and sometimes other platforms. I did not set up Instagram today because it wasn't working. People weren't digging it. Something about the Instagram audience or the platform just wasn't working for them. So, okie dokie. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.